Come, let us consider Buddhist and Taoist philosophy to help us meditate like Jedi. Whoops, I gotta plug something in real quick. Oy vey, here we go. Whoops. Coordination. Okay, here we go. From a certain point of view, stress is anything that circumstantially, physically, interpersonally, or mentally inhibits our ability to survive and thrive as a species. We evolved a collection of instincts to survive those stressors. These are fine when used sparingly, but since the Neolithic Revolution, we as a species have been forced to overuse them. Enslaved by the fleeting, short-term pleasures of our dopamine-oriented reward system, we have become defined by our controlling tendencies, and as such overfocus, overanalyze, and overbelieve to such a degree that we exhaust our dorsolateral and prefrontal cortex, which triggers our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression, causing our tendencies to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel to be the guiding light by which we needlessly squander our brief human lives. The fulfillment for which we yearn can only be delivered by our oxytocin-oriented system that rewards our tendencies to be flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. I'm going to stop right here for a second and explore this in terms of duality. Consider the duality between elitism and egalitarianism. Elitism says, I'm going to start a corporation and I'm going to pay myself 7,000 times more than the employees. Egalitarianism says, let's start a co-op where we all vote on decisions together and we are all paid the exact same amount. There is nothing spiritual about elitism. We are wired to be egalitarianism. If we want peace, if we want love, if we want fulfillment, that path is paved with egalitarianism. Let's continue. This meaningful path has 8 folds. Let us forsake the exhausting habit of actively fighting against our own autonomic nervous system, the hardware of our Buddha nature, and instead with it cooperate. By silently and mentally reciting the verb watch each time we feel our chest subtly swell as we inhale, and by silently and mentally reciting the verb rest each time we feel let's try this again. Each time we feel our chest subtly sink as gently we exhale. Let us explore how this works. During each inhalation, spontaneous and uncontrived, the sympathetic nervous system, centered in the middle bit of our spinal cord, is already wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly watch our perceptions, the sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, and scents of the 4 bases of mindfulness: the circumstantial, physical, interpersonal, and mental, including our abilities to emote, intend, reason, recall, and imagine. Instead of indulging our controlling tendencies to shove at circumstantial dangers, physical pain, interpersonal scorn, and mental shame, as well as reach for circumstantial safety, physical bliss, interpersonal praise, and mental fame, let us choose to be vulnerable to all that we experience, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. What are we to do with all that we watch? Simple. With each exhalation, the top bit and the bottom bit of that same spinal cord, known together as our parasympathetic nervous system, is already wired to rest in such a manner that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, could feel non-graspable to the hand. Until, of course, the next inhalation, when the cycle begins afresh, and, like the ticking pendulum of a grandfather clock, we continue to watch mind's antics and rest in its non-graspable nature. The acquisition of a new skill could make us anxious, and even feel that we, like a kind of Rip Van Winkle, could sit to meditate only to open our eyes and find that a century has passed us by. Some have found that the best way to non-neurotically time our meditation is to therefore practice a variation of Bengali crease counting. It could take more than 1 minute to count 16 inhalations by touching the tip of our right thumb to the creases and tips of its, let's get this over here, of its left little, let's try this again, by touching the tip of our right thumb to the creases and tips of its little, ring, middle, and index fingers. It could take more than 20 minutes to count 16 sets of 16 inhalations each by touching the tip of our left thumb to the creases and tips of its little, ring, middle, and index fingers. It could take more than an hour to count 3 collections of 16 sets of 16 inhalations each. By using the tip of our left middle finger to first support our right middle finger's larger lower knuckle. Then support its middle knuckle, and eventually support its very small upper knuckle. Whoops, come on, coordination, don't fail me now. All while resting both hands palms up in our lap. Remember, that which at first feels awkward could be mastered if practiced once every 12 hours after only a week or so. As we sit and breathe and watch and rest, all that we notice could fleetingly and effortlessly come to feel impermanent, evanescent, and far too subject to change to ever be permanently grasped. The more we sit and breathe and watch and rest, the more our anxious and aggressive amygdala is calmed, and the more our empathetic anterior cingulate gyrus is gently stimulated, so marinating our experience of the 4 bases of mindfulness that mentally our intentions are spontaneously kinder, interpersonally our utterances are naturally kinder. Physically, our conduct is automatically kinder, and circumstantially, our commerce is impulsively kinder. Thus, forging a heaven on earth, eventually a peaceful death, and even an auspicious rebirth, figuratively, if not literally. The more we watch mind's antics and rest in its non-graspable nature, the more we automatically experience the effortless effort, or wu-wei, that comes not from calculated contrivance, nor from wild scatteredness, but instead from love's deeply centered spontaneity. Let us transcend our elitist conditioning to consider the possibility that enlightenment is merely the mastery of this eightfold path. As children, the skills to use the toilet, brush our teeth, tie our shoes, and ride a bike felt insurmountable. And yet, with time and effort and tears, we so mastered these skills that we came to perform them spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. Similarly, enlightenment's eightfold path could likewise be effortless. Perhaps that is why that, in the second to final passage of his discourse on the four bases of mindfulness, the Buddha is said to have explained that one could master this path in as suddenly as 7 days. No, doing so does not mean we'll never experience the presence of any pain or craving ever again. It simply means we will have mastered the Buddha's figurative tool chest with which we could sustainably transcend the tyranny of each sling and arrow of outrageous fortune. So quick like a Benny, I'm going to do an edit because ostensibly that's how I roll. Let's see here. Oops, wrong button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoopsie, 5, and make this 18. Come on. And let's see if this fits. Oops, it does not. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. No, doing so does not mean we'll never experience the presence of any pain or craving ever again. It simply means we will have mastered the Buddha's figurative tool chest, with which we could sustainably transcend the tyranny of each sling and arrow of outrageous fortune. So, once every 12 hours or so, may we sit and breathe and watch and rest. Remember, we've gone over a lot of information, so here's the deal. As we feel our chest swell, silently and mentally, we recite the verb watch. As we feel our chest gently sink, silently and mentally recite the verb rest. We touch the tip of our left thumb to the first set of creases upon its little finger. Use its middle finger to support our right hand and begin counting inhalations thusly. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist or Taoist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat windows, for I tend to check for questions intermittently. So in preparation for some chanting, very concise chanting, you're welcome to join me over here. So I'm going to take a moment to edit because clearly that's how I roll. Okay, thank you very much for your patience. So the reason we're going, the great Buddhist reformer Rahe Vajra, known in Tibet as Gaurab Dorje, was not a fan of mantra meditation. I have found that with my disabilities, I am constantly fighting the dragon of profound lethargy. And I found that some, not all, but some mantras help me to experience a modicum of productivity, wherein at least 2 to 3 times a day I'm able to teach, which is very important to me. It's no fun as an invalid spending my day on my ass watching TV. It's don't, that's no fun. Um, Ask any person with ADHD, they'll tell you that's just horrible. So I love using my talents, and I found that playing with this mantra helps to give my body the boost it needs to be able to use its talents. Um, you might find this beneficial too, you might not. If you have any questions, type them in the chat window. As we breathe in, once again, this will be easier if you join me here. As we breathe in, we can silently and mentally recite the intention. Every 12 hours, let's watch mind's antics and rest in its non-graspable nature. So quick like a bunny, I'm going to make not one, but 2 edits because clearly that's how I roll. I want to make sure this still fits on the page because word is funny. Okay. And copy. And here we go. Oh, so and as we breathe in silently and mentally, we could recite every 12 hours, let's watch mind's antics and rest in its non-graspable nature. As we exhale, we physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 4 breaths. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa, Om Tare Dare Dure Suwa. Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa, Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa, Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa, Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa. Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa, Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa, Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa, Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa. Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa, Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa, Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa, Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa. Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa, Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa, Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa, Om Tare Du Nane Nune Suwa. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's second recitation and meditation. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.